I hurt my back. Many of you probably have had the same experience. I hear oftentimes from my clients that they hurt the back during some very basic exercises, something that shouldn't really cause the problem. And almost every single time, listening to my clients, I hear them blaming a movement, blaming an action, or the weight, or anything they have actually done at the moment of hurting the back as the cause of the injury. Now, it did happen to me yesterday, so I want to take this opportunity and share with you almost live what happened, why it happened, and how to deal with this. So I do not claim that the action, that the movement I did yesterday caused my back to hurt or injured my back. I am a relatively active person. On the daily basis, I move weights within the gym. I move a lot, I train a lot, I am physically active. What I did yesterday was nothing more but the regular type of action I would do with my clients on the daily basis. I was moving one piece of equipment a couple of meters from one place to another place. The weight of this didn't exceed probably 15-20 kilos. It was not early in the morning. I didn't do any sudden movements, and when I put this object down on the floor, I stood up, I felt right away that my back locked. This, as we speak, is not so uncommon. So in order to understand the situation, I want to draw your attention not to what actually happened at the moment of the pain, but days, sometimes weeks, or even months before. So what happened to me is that I have been over the weekend with my Taekwondo team at the competition. We flew from Vietnam to Japan. It is roughly about 5.5 hours flight. And most of the weekend I spent either standing or walking around or sitting. So I didn't really do any whole body movements, no practically exercises except for lots of walking. Either way, I caused lots of compression. On top of this, being busy with the team, with the arrangement, with commuting from one place to another one, buses, trains, metros, flights, and so on, highly possibly I dehydrated myself pretty much. After quite stressful coming back, where most of the day I spent on some means of transportation, I came to the gym in the morning, waking up early, working whole day. In the afternoon, I moved this one piece of equipment and my back started hurting. All these things that led to this moment of hurting my back, I consider as this is the main cause. In my age, being over 50, my body is not as forgiving as young people. I probably do have some bulges within my spine. Probably some disc degeneration also occur, like vast majority of people. So even sometimes these factors, which normally do not involve movement, they probably contributed the most. That means lots of spinal compression without decompression, without moving, actually training, dehydration. As we know, human body is built mainly of water. So if we don't hydrate it enough, tissue is becoming less elastic and for also less forgiving for different movements. Stress, fatigue, and it didn't take much. On top of this, pain threshold probably lowered, and on top of this, I executed one innocent movement and my back locked. Sometimes people report brushing teeth, putting shoes on, doing any basically daily life activities, and this supposedly causes back pain. No, it doesn't. Things that led to this moment most probably contribute to this back situation. Now, how to deal with this? First of all, do not freak out. Don't fear. It's extremely uncomfortable, that's true. It's painful. I do not have free range of motion. My movement is very limited. I cannot walk without pain. I definitely cannot lift anything heavier. So these things are very compromised. However, I do know that movement is my medicine. So what I'm going to do, I will show you in a moment the exercises that I perform right from the very first moment I felt this, and I'm going to repeat them on the daily basis, maybe 2 or 3 times a day, for probably up to 1 week. I know that this will subside, the pain will go away, the movement will return, but I need to be patient and I need to keep moving. Sometimes I need to keep moving despite of discomfort or even mild pain. With the spine, with this kind of injuries, conditions, usually one direction movement will cause more pain than the other one, as well as the rotation into one direction will cause more pain than the other one. So what I want to do, I want to go into the direction which doesn't cause more pain and maybe be a little bit more conservative on the direction that causes pain. So I don't want to trigger more pain, I want to reduce, but I want to move. I don't want to necessarily avoid the pain, I just don't want to trigger more. So let's go through the movements that help me to mobilize the spine, help me to bring a little bit more oxygen and blood, oxygen with blood to tissue, remove any inflammation byproducts, and just trying to mobilize all this area that feels at this point extremely painful, extremely uncomfortable. Let's go for the movements. So the first thing I want to do is to create some condition, some position at which I can decompress my spine. For this purpose, I like to use quite thick resistance band, which I would just loop into some stable leg or beam, get myself inside. This might be probably one of the most difficult things to do, but just bear with me. So I want to put the band at the back of my hips. I don't want to put it very high. I don't want to be on my lumbar spine. I want it to be relatively low. Okay. Then the band will go in between the legs, and I want to move away, stretching the band, and I want to lie down as relaxed as possible. Okay, so now by the position I am in, the band is pulling my pelvis down, my upper back stays on the floor, and I try to relax. I try to relax. At the same time, I want to tilt my pelvis posteriorly and anteriorly. Gently, slowly, breathing in, breathing out, trying to relax the lumbar spine, trying to mobilize a little bit the pelvis within the movement comfort and the relatively pain-free zone. And I want to stay in this maybe 1-2 minutes. Additionally, the other type of the movement I want to do would be lateral tilt. So again, keeping my body very relaxed, I want to tilt my pelvis to one side and the other side. And again, I want to stay in this position for about 1 to 2 minutes, moving gently from one side to the other one. What we can add would be leg swing. So again, from one side to the other one without forcing too much of the tension, allowing for body be relaxed as much as possible. And again, about 1 to 2 minutes. For the purpose of this video, I will obviously cut a little bit, but if you stay for about 5 minutes with this band, relaxed, moving, breathing, it will allow your spine to decompress gently. Oh, now lifting up will be hard. Okay, yeah. All right. So this would be first step. Now the second thing I want to do is coming on my knees and the hands, with my knees below the hips and hands directly below the shoulders. And I want to perform something that is called spinal flexion extension from yoga. You may notice it like a cow camel. I want to flex my spine and extend. And again, I want to go into the direction that doesn't cause me pain and not push too far into the direction that actually triggers more pain. So for me, extension is causing pain. I don't want to go further than this. I just stay for a moment, breathe, and go for flexion. And again, I want to repeat this somewhere between 10 to 20 repetitions. The next one, I want to lift my toes and I want to swing my legs as you would imagine dog waving a tail. And again, very relaxed, trying to bring the movement. Hopefully it doesn't cause you pain. Now the next thing what I like to do would be bring my hands forward a little bit, and I want to sit on my heels, trying to get a bit of the back stretch. Exhale, stand up, and again flex, stretch, come back, and again repeat this about 10 to 15 times. The next I want to do would be come up, extend my back, sit as far as I can, flex, and come up. So I add flexion extension to stretch. The next thing, I want to add some spinal rotation. So again, from the same quadruped position, I want to keep my back neutral. Lift one hand and we do rotation down under, like you want to thread your elbow under, and then you open the chest, lift your elbow, lift your shoulder, inhale, and go down under, exhale. And we go through this rotation again, 10 to 15 times, nice, slow, gentle, trying to add a little bit more rotation to the spine. We do for both directions, so you will do left and you will do also right with the same pace, the same amount of repetitions. Down and up. One side will feel better than the other one. That's perfectly normal. Go as much as you can. The next movement that I want to do is coming back again to quadruped position, so hands below the shoulders and knees below the hips. And I want to lift my leg, extend it all the way back, and bring it back to the chest. Isolating on the hips movement, so I don't want to move my spine, I want to keep it relatively tight, however, without causing too much tension. So I breathe and move my leg back and forth. Again, 10 to 15 repetition, switch. I want to do the same for the other leg. You don't want to use your back, you don't want to flex, extend, you want to keep it neutral, and we only work from the hips. Okay? For the next one, in the same position, but we put a yoga block on or some other elevation under one knee, and let me switch to this one, it will be better visible on the camera, and then we do like a hip hike. So I drop one knee down, and I lift it as high as you can. So now I produce rotation actually from the lumbar spine and from the hips. Mild movement, but we want to use also this direction. This one, again, one side will feel better than the other one, but we want to do both. I did exercises yesterday. I did them already today in the morning. This is my fourth time and it does feel already better. However, walking is still compromised. Okay? And two more things that I want to do would be come back on my back on the floor. This is very uncomfortable. Bend your knees about 90 degrees and I want to lift my hips up and put it down. And again, within the pain limits. Extend and down. Extend your hips and down. Don't push too far, just enough that you can feel your muscles work. If it doesn't cause you too much stress, you can try to do the same movement with single leg. Oh, not today. How about the other one? Not today. I will keep it for another occasion. And the last thing I want to do would be to turn on the side, bring my elbow below the shoulder, keep both my knees bent, and I want to do hip rises. And again, I want to do it on one side and on the other side. And that is enough for the beginning. For the next 1 week, I will try to do these exercises, and when I feel a little bit better, when my pain goes down, I can try to bring a little bit more advanced movements. But this is absolutely safe, and this is necessary for your back to start regaining its mobility and the functionality. So these are the movements I am doing on the daily basis. It doesn't take me usually more than 5 to 10 minutes. If I have time, I can repeat them maybe 2 or 3 times a day. And these are also movements, as you can see, that you can do at home. You don't need any specialized equipment. I definitely do not need going for MRI, X-ray, or any other imaging services. I know that it will go away. I know that it will come back to normal. And I also know that probably at some point I will again do something that my pain will flare, which I will have to repeat the protocol which I'm following right now. Don't fear, don't stress, be consistent, keep moving, it will get better.